Oh, shit. We're back.
40 days and 40 nights. We were back.
It's been a long time, and we were absolutely not missed. All right.
No one was asking questions. Yo, when's the next one?
Where's our welfare checks?
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my god.
The people take us for granted.
Microphone check.
The
Holy shit.
That's funny. That's funny.
Well, last time we left off, Isaiah had taken himself on quite the journey. Last I checked, the initial instructions from Amun, the avatar of Ra, were to wait for him to finish his ritual of summoning Ra's Ark and completing the selection of a new captain. And Isaiah decided to take it upon himself to follow the old hag woman, Madame Laveau, and got himself into a tangled mess to a degree.
Hey. Everything happens for a reason.
Better words have never been said. Because after that, Isaiah had decided to finally take some time to center himself, allowed his body to heal from the 3 rabbit brothers that he had thoroughly defeated, and found himself at the bottom of this territory that seems to be under the control of Ra. No longer wrapped up inside of some type of gem-like web, Isaiah found himself in a place borderlining the underworld. Curiously alone, moving forward, Isaiah decided to stumble across in his journeys after a couple of rolls, a failed perception check from our great guardian, and a fairly good survival check, if I'm not mistaken, from our friend Isaiah, searching for anything if not Mowgli. You stumbled across the old heart of Jabaxi, which you surmise possibly could have been the heart from when Jabaxi was in another plane altogether. Possibly. Around the heart was a large dedication shrine to a number of battles the Jabaxi gods and armies, avatars, heroes, and Medjai had partaken in centuries long past, in a world long forgotten, to the point where even Amun himself can no longer speak the name of that world. So, Isaiah, after meeting with your new interesting serpentine companion, searching a number of shrines, and adding a shrine, if I'm not mistaken,
That is what happened. That is what happened.
Mowgli had returned to you, only under slight duress.
He went through a lot last episode.
He did go through a lot, but I feel like at the end of the day, he gained a lot too. He gained a whole title,
Yeah.
in fact.
Yep, yep. But I think the character that went through the most that we actually haven't called out yet is none other than Tink.
Oh, formerly known as Tink,
Oh man.
the familiar that was bestowed upon Isaiah by Amun. Actually, not really so much by Amun, but revealed by Amun to Isaiah, who was absolutely not thoroughly forgotten about in the last session.
I was about to say they were so familiar that both of us forgot.
Too familiar, some would even say.
Yeah.
It's honestly an absolute shame, but Tink managed to, or the familiar formerly known as Tink, managed to find his way to Isaiah by following the light of Amun Ra, going down into the down below, the border of the underworld itself. Isaiah and company have decided to make their way to the capital of Jabaxi. And Isaiah has elected that the fastest way to do so, which he's not incorrect, is through the underworld.
Fuck yeah. Fuck it, we ball. That's Patrick. That's not Isaiah.
So, Isaiah, I'm going to say this. Your new serpentine friend, Ion.
What a sweetheart.
She is most curious to see the modern world from the position of mortal standing, such as yourself. And if we're being honest, Amun himself, who has not stepped foot into the modern society of Jabaxi uh, ever in any type of metropolitan area that is full of non-outlier cultures, is most curious to see what he can actually learn from it as well. You seem to have a slight ragtag group of these two very moderately ancient beings and a very recent and pure being that of General Mowgli himself.
A war hero.
Ion has elected to tell you of her ability to travel through the underworld in a very expeditious pace that, unfortunately, in order to move at the same pace, she would end up killing you in a terrible torment of both collision and her own acid breath itself. So she has elected to take an old tunnel that she has formerly made and will warn you that the journey itself, despite traveling slower, to avoid any type of collision damage, will be more dangerous in a different sense. That there are always perpetrators that tend to wait for her in these old tunnels, hoping that she will ever use them again. She looks to you, Isaiah, and Mowgli, and Amun to hopefully defend her in the result of any type of perpetrator trying to claim her blood, essence, or scales for themselves. She decides to leave her lizard folk form and go back into her full serpent form, and has elected to change it in a way that she has scale-like protrusions, almost spines, to allow you and Amun and Mowgli some cover,
Oh, sick McNasty.
as she refuses to be saddled in any type of way when the idea is brought up by Amun.
Uh, are we like close to the crest of her? You know, are we close to the crown, or are we on the body, or are we close to the end? Like, where would we be? Where would we
You can
reside?
choose to be where you like. How about that? Do
That's
you
very
want to be
cool.
by the head?
I think. See, strategically, I feel like I have to be at the head, but considering the emotional roller coaster that a particular party member has gone through recently, I think that it's only fitting that Mowgli takes the front as our war general that leads us into the underworld. So I will look over to Mowgli and I will say, Mowgli, as our war general, you must guide us and warn us of any dangers as you take the lead on Ion, and uh, mount the crest, the crown, and be our guardian as well as our general. Me and Amun will take centerfold of Ion's back.
I will say that before you make that full decision, that Ion herself is very, very long, possibly even 2 miles or so. So I'm gonna say that Amun, once he realizes the position that he is going to be in this situation, he is going to go to you, Isaiah, and he's gonna place both of his hands on your shoulders, and his eyes glow for a split second in time, and he's like, "It's been a long time since I've done this. Sorry if this is weird." And he blinds you for a short second in time, and then suddenly you see Amun Ra himself in front of you, and he stops moving his lips, but you hear his voice in your head. Is this working? Can you hear me? Isaiah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. What are you doing right now?
Oh, that's wonderful. First of all, I'm making a way for us to communicate once things get a little too loud. Uh, Floats over to Mowgli, does the same thing with Mowgli, and then to the crest of Ion, and suddenly you hear Ion shout out, "See! Can't see! Oh, can't." And Mowgli's like, "Do not worry. Your guide can see." You hear in your head.
Oh, jeez. Wait, where all the
And
voices are connected and we're on a like a mental walkie-talkie network?
you're on channel 1 now.
Oh my goodness. I'm
You're
going
you're all on channel 1 at this
Nah,
point in
I'm going to
time.
channel 3. I'm going to That's where the shit goes down. um all right, I will okay, with that mental connection and now the realization that it's 2 miles long, I will probably be not at the middle of the back. I'll probably still have Mowgli take point, but I'll be about 10 to 15 feet behind Mowgli towards kind of, I guess, what you would barely call the start of the neck. Um, Still the top of the neck, right below the, I guess, head. And I think I will. Could I gather some webs?
You may absolutely gather some webs. I believe you have some on you as well.
I didn't look too deep into my inventory. That's very much possible. Let me double check. I went to the W section. Oh, there is spider's web. Yep. Okay, so I will do some spider's web and some of that other. I'll just keep gathering more web. And I think what I will do is I will basically try to make a weave. I'll try to like thread it together to basically fashion a kind of like a makeshift rope of sorts. And what I want to do is I want to mount my shield in between two of Ion's kind of spindles that are protruding from her back, and put my shield in between two spindles and like mounted one together as like one makeshift blockade on her back.
Okay. You absolutely are. I would say, ooh, what role do we want to make this? What does Isaiah want to roll to make this fortification as good as it can be?
So I think you would want to make the roll to make a rope, I guess, to be a survival check, and then how it fastens in place may also be a survival check.
We'll make a survival check, I'll say. And I'll say Mowgli is going to give you the help action.
Okay. Okay. It's not too bad. Natural 14 for a 15.
15? That's good enough. I'm going to say that you're able to make a fortified position here with the spines. If you're able to communicate with Ion herself, she has some type of a capability to change her own body itself. She can move spines. When you first saw her, she was a mostly naturally smooth serpent with a crest on top of the head, but she's capable of changing her form to quite a degree. So you're able to make a place with decent fortification, basically full cover from the front, the back, and I'll say about half cover, so a +5 from the sides of any type of ranged attacks or any type of attacks that could possibly need line of sight.
Okay, awesome. I feel safe. I feel secure. But not because of the blockade. It's because Mowgli's up front.
Ah, lovely,
Yep.
lovely.
Yep.
Not too long until Ion is able to make it to the precipice, and you realize after taking a look at it, it is a hole that goes just straight down. It's just pure pitch black darkness, and you can tell that she has melted through this type of steel, not steel, but stone, this blue stone that you have investigated beforehand. Rather durable, somewhat illuminates the power of the acid that you now currently have a vial of right now. So, the drop begins, Isaiah. I'm going to say, since you are in your fortification, you're not going to have to make any type of strength roll to hang on just due to the initial momentum. Uh, what becomes very handy to you, you realize, is that Isaiah, you have spider climb as long as you're hanging onto the Kopesh.
Ooh.
So
Ooh.
you don't have to worry about keeping balance while she's moving via gravity. You feel like you are capable of making maneuvers that both Amun and Mowgli are not capable of doing so without flight.
Very cool.
So the drop begins like a roller coaster, Isaiah. You know that she's going down the hole before you
Nice. What?
quite go down. And since you have full feeling right now, the very tips of your fingers begin to, well, almost feel the blood escape. And suddenly you drop. And it is very exciting, very frightening, and at the same time, very fun.
Yeah. We like to. I don't even know. I don't know. I was just reminiscing about like surfing down the sand dunes, and now I'm going down a roller coaster and a giant snake with
Yep.
my general bear buddy
Yep.
and a god that just likes to hang out. I don't even know. All the respect to Amun, but sometimes when I talk to him, I think I'm like Andy Samberg from Hot Rod, and he is Ian McShane, and that's all I think about sometimes. Is like, what is this relationship?
Yeah, no, that's valid. Uh, I would say Isaiah, give me a religion or history check, real
All
quick.
right. Thankfully, both of those are a +0. Fuck. 7.
With a 7, you obviously everybody's heard of Amun Ra, absolutely. Uh, it might have been a point of contention on whether or not he was a god himself, or if he was as you have recently discovered, actually the avatar of Ra. But you realize that you don't know much about him other than, short-term legends of, you know, well, he's a guy who is relatively good and notable, but it's always been like, when you hear things about, it's like a child's book of King Arthur. You hear about Arthur pulling out the sword in the stone, and then you realize that the sword in the stone is not the same thing as Excalibur, and you get a little confused. And there's definitely more to him that's just kind of like simplified greatly for the sake of like, oh, here's a person to look up to who did great. Here's legends about him, and you're looking at a living legend And you realize that he's absolutely powerful, but he's very much so just a guy. It's not really, I shouldn't say disappointing, but
He's definitely a Brad.
he's definitely a Brad, maybe formerly a Chad.
Oh my gosh.
But he doesn't give off that Chad energy anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
He's
definitely
like
gives off.
he's like Brad Pitt in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. You saw like a wave of excitement over like something to do that especially breaks the mold of what he normally does of just moving the arc, and his face lit up. He wanted to go on it. He considered his possibilities and didn't really give it that much thought. And he just seems very happy to be here. Mowgli, on the other hand, his ears, if possible, are slightly back. His brow is furrowed when he looks back to make any type of check to make sure that you're good. He sees your fortification. He gives you somehow the way in his mind to convey a thumbs up. You just see the manifestation of his own thumb just erecting on his hand. And then you see Amun's hand come in and just push it out of the vision box.
Oh.
And Mowgli very narrowly avoids getting pelted by a large piece of. I can't really say it's stalagmite or stalactite because it's
You don't know it's up
formerly
or down.
acidic rock that's jutting out of the side of the wall. So a rocky protrusion, and suddenly you realize how dangerous this trip is as it narrowly avoids decapitating Mowgli and strikes one of the spines of Ion. She doesn't make any type of mental noise, but you do feel her body reverberate just from the sheer force of that stone striking.
Oh jeepers. Can I see what's ahead? Is there a light at the end of the tunnel, or is there a darkness at the end of the tunnel, or do I see nothing?
Roll me a perception check, my friend.
Okay. That is a natural 8 for a 9.
Naturally for a 9. Isaiah, I'm going to say that you definitely see a light moving forward. When you peek out of your fortifications and you try to get a nice line of sight, how far are you willing to peek out of the fortifications is what I would like to know.
I would
Like, are
like
you
to
going to step
say,
all the way out, go underneath, and avoid things?
can I tell how fast we are going down?
Uh, you're going fairly fast. At this point, it's no longer a completely downward slope. Ion has currently landed and is moving at her current speed, which is very quick. Uh, Obviously, trying to avoid any type of damage she can commit to you guys.
Yeah.
She voices that she sees some type of light coming up, not in the idea that she knows what it is. With your, you said you got a 9.
Yeah. And just to clarify, I would poke above the fortification at just about like nose level.
Okay, so you're not really peeking out too much.
Yeah, just because of the speed of which, we're going. Like, I'm like, and I saw, Mowgli almost get his shit rocked. I think I would be very reserved with how much I peak.
I would say that you, Isaiah, with that, even that low of a roll, you're able to see a number of lights coming up. They do almost look like natural lights, like almost torchlight-ish. And then suddenly there's a number of them. And then suddenly, as you're passing by, you're almost able to make out
Oh.
figures, but there's a number of lights alongside this tunnel that Ion is passing through, on top of what looks to be stone-like protrusions and fortifications. But you don't see any individuals making moves currently.
Mm.
You have a feeling, though, with this number of lights, and lights basically surrounding you guys, passing by very fast. Ion is beginning to slow ever so slightly, and she cries out, "Webs! Webs! Webs!" And Mowgli says, "I see them! I see them! I'll get them! I'll take them out!" And Ion conveys through the image box, through the spell that Amun has cast on all of you, the tunnel that you see that she's going down has been almost blockaded with the same webs that you have used to make your fortification. Not the very ones, but the same kind.
Interesting.
And she's pushing herself through them right now, spurting acid as she goes along. And her pace has slowed down greatly, but not to a halt. And Isaiah, you're,
In her
you're able.
mind, I think I'll probably try to like convey the image of like, very warm, very hot, kind of like fresh out the oven kind of Buffalo Wild Wings and with a side of ranch. And I'm hoping with like that image, she'll start to salivate more, and she'll be able to spit out more gobs of acid.
Roll me a persuasion check.
All right. Fuck yeah. Fuck me. Wait, no, never mind. I read that wrong. Okay, 14 for a 21. I thought it just said 4.
21. With that, you get the idea that she's able to shorten the exit of the venom itself enough to basically make a laser of acid that won't cover the tunnel itself, but is properly cutting its way through these webs themselves. But there are a number of webs that have already currently wrapped around her and have entrapped her to a degree that Mowgli is currently cutting through as we speak.
So we're going slow enough where I could come out of the cover.
You are absolutely going slow enough to the point where you can come out of the cover. You're not going breakneck speed anymore. Isaiah, at this point in time, you're able to make out some figures that are standing on these ramparts,
Okay.
and a number of them jump onto Ion with what looks to be gigantic sarcophagi.
Okay. I will. Hmm. I think as this happens, um, I will. I'll turn my eyes into like a bright gold, and I will start making the symbols, the hieroglyphics, indicative of both Osiris and Anubis, and I will push them forth out towards the individuals as I cast Divine Sense.
All right. I'm going to say that the what is the range of divine sense?
It says within 60 feet.
Okay, so
That is
you'll
not
get within
behind total
60.
cover.
Okay, then you will get within 60 feet of these individuals themselves before you do so. I will assume you're not just going to waste a divine sense.
Yeah.
Uh, the moment you do so, Isaiah, as we have decided before, or I have decided, you naturally cast detect thoughts, so you do have that spell available to you at this moment in time.
Okay.
Uh, as you do so, you get close to these figures themselves. They seem to be relatively short in stature. They bear black cloaks upon themselves. Tiny pieces of silver hang from what looks to be almost like bandages from underneath the cloaks. And as soon as you make your presence known to them by casting divine sense, you immediately detect that these individuals are undead. And as you get close, you see the sarcophagi that they have landed on here with. They right standing up, you see what seems to be some type of protrusion at the bottom, and then they stab it into ion. And the lights on the sarcophagus, the figure itself, the eyes begin to glow. And suddenly, with that moment in time, you feel another presence of an undead that was not there a second ago, straight through the eyes of the sarcophagus.
Can I?
They look at you,
Okay.
you bearing the marks of the gods of the underworld. There's no words that are needed. They steel themselves and they make their way in your direction as well.
Okay. Then.
I think you know what to do next.
Just trying to see if I do know what I'm gonna do next. Uh,
I will say once the sarcophagus is implanted inside of Ion, she does cry out in pain mentally.
with my divine sense, do I get any idea what's going on with the sarcophagus itself? Like, is it because the lights turned on right when it was stabbed into ion? Do I correlate that it being planted in ion is kind of like it's siphoning power from ion, or is ion a battery of sorts,
Uh,
or
roll
what?
me a insight.
Okay, I will do this. Holy shit. A natural 20 for a 25.
Natural 20. Yep, Isaiah with a natural 20, which cannot be disagreed with. As are you waiting for them to approach, or are you approaching them as well?
I am walking to them, but I'm not posturing as like. I'm not confrontational about it.
I will say that they are blatantly, with an insight check of natural 20, they are blatantly coming to kill you. Uh, the moment they stab the sarcophagus into Ion, the eyes lit up with the same color of her acid spit itself. You're easily able to discern that they are extracting whatever that is into the sarcophagus, and whatever is inside of it is growing in power and has resurrected because of it.
Mm. In which case, how many of these undead individuals are there?
There are three that you can see right here. Uh, Distantly, towards the tail end area of Ion itself, you see some flashing lights, and you see Amun Ra has taken to battling these individuals right now.
If I call out to them in ancient Jabaxi, like path of the old heart kind of like dialect of Jabaxi,
Okay.
would they understand?
Uh, you call out, and what little old Jabaxi you do know, and still going with the natural 20 insight. Yeah, they seem to understand.
Hmm.
I'll definitely say that these people seem to be filled with one thing, one motivation, and it's an objective to plant this sarcophagus and kill anybody who gets in our way. They seem to have been waiting for Ion or any other type of serpent of her make, and have decided to extract this type of acid from any of the children of Apophis that they can.
Um. Okay. In Old Jabaxi, as broken as I can with what little I know, uh, I will try to say in Old Jabaxi that I am undead as you, and I will see if that
Oh,
does anything.
I will definitely say that those words were very well chosen, and that will stop them for a moment in time. Uh, they will stop. You'll see one of these individuals removes their hood from themselves, revealing a grimy, almost decrepit looking, and very surprisingly, a red cap. Very
Interesting.
similar to Cademan. Uh, the difference is that the cap, the red cap itself, is missing, displaying a disgusting display of a lack of the back of a head. And it speaks to you with black, grimy teeth, bandages wrapped around the top of his head in a very poor attempt to cover up this gaping wound. Speaks to you in Old Jabaxi. And what of it?
Um. I got two key paths that I can take this, and I don't know which one I want to take. Hmm.
You don't know them to be very patient.
Yeah.
Cademan as a testament, you can't imagine how an undead one would
Hey,
be.
hey, they have all of eternity, okay? But I'll say I seek audience with Anubis, and this, and I'll gesture towards the sarcophagus. This is impeding my vessel.
Isaiah, roll me a very low DC history check.
For fuck's sake, that is a natural one. It's only fitting. It's only fitting.
It's only fitting that you would roll a natural one. So, what does it come to? It's a 0, isn't it? Or it's a
No,
1.
it's
You
just
don't
a
have a
one.
plus to it.
It's
Yeah,
not a
okay.
dex,
All
thank
right.
God.
Isaiah, it's so weird that these individuals would bring a sarcophagus onto a child of Apophis or Apep himself to extract acid that you've seen melt stone that your Kopesh couldn't cleave into. It's very strange. This whole situation is beyond you. You just want to make it to Pharos. This is honestly just bullshit. Just can they fuck off? Like, they speak up. Servants of Anubis have no power over us. We have no affiliation, no allegiance with Anubis or Osiris. Throw yourself to Amit if you want relief.
Do I know who Ahmet is?
Without rolling, you know that Amit is the devourer of the dead, the a very strange creature, known to be having the body of a lion, a leopard, a hippopotamus, and a crocodile. Those who are judged unworthy are thrown by Anubis and Osiris are thrown. Their hearts are thrown to Amet, and Amet is known to love the taste of the dead.
Interesting.
Uh, these Redcap look at you. You don't seem to be approaching them fully, but if you get closer within the distance of 40 feet, you have a feeling that they're going to strike. However, you get within 30 feet of them. I should say 40 feet of the sarcophagus, they will strike. But you get within 30 feet of them. Your detect thoughts can trigger on them if you wish to use it to
Uh,
pry into surface thoughts.
I will say that I'll look at the sarcophagus again and I'll say, if I help you with this sarcophagus, would that make you all leave?
You say that, and in their mind, they almost can't believe this situation that they're in right now. The the red caps look at each other, and they say to you, "You leave the sarcophagus, and we shall leave promptly after we fill it."
Hmm. Is there any way that can we fill it faster?
The red caps shake their head no. Uh, at this point in time, you hear Mowgli scream out that he's got a majority of the webs cut free. "I've almost done it!" And Ion is proclaiming her anger at these individuals for doing this again.
Uh,
Uh, Amun speaks out. "They are rather pesky, but I'm handling mine over here. Isaiah, do you need help?"
in my mind, I'll say I'm trying to talk them out of it, but the conversation is going sideways. I think I'll be able to handle it, but we'll see here. We'll see. And I'll look over to um
The three red caps look at one of their individuals on ramparts, and reinforcements are going down towards the area where Amun is.
is channel divinity a bonus action or is it just a thing?
I think it's an action.
Or wait, no, not channel divinity. Sorry. I wanted to say divine smite.
Divine Smite is a free action.
Okay. Then um I'll look at them and I'll say, well, unfortunately, me and my friends here are kind of in a rush and we have other business to attend to, and you and your friends are impeding that progress. So, unfortunately, I will have to help you guys in ways that I would consider not necessarily savory. And then with that, I'm going to do two things at the same time. The first thing is that I'm going to uh, divine smite my stinger of the web weaver, and I'm going to throw it at the sarcophagus. And the second thing that I'm going to do is that because the sarcophagus is in a kind of its own attack action per round sort of thing where it's constantly digging at Ion, into Ion and sucking the venom out of her. I'm going to, as a reaction, channel divinity rebuke the violence so that the damage that the sarcophagus is doing to Ion is going to be damaging the sarcophagus itself.
All right. I will say that you absolutely can do the channel divinity. Unfortunately, a divine smite has to be a melee attack.
Oh fuck! Damn.
Otherwise, it would be very broken.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good
Uh,
point.
I do like the idea of you throwing the Kopesh at the sarcophagus, but they have purposely gotten into your way to make sure that you cannot get to it initially.
Okay, then
Uh,
in that case, I would just, instead of doing the throw, because I totally forgot about that, then I would just do um, the shoot that it does. I forgot what the spell is called.
Guiding bolt.
The guiding bolt. Yes, I will do the guiding bolt at the
I will
eyes, the
say
glowing eyes.
we are in an impromptu initiative right now, so I'm just going to ask you to roll for it right now as we speak.
Okay. Roll for initiative or roll to attack?
Roll for initiative.
Okay, okay. Then that's going to be an 18 for a 17.
17. I would like you to roll for Mowgli as well.
Okay.
I know is additive.
Okay. Mowgli got a 6 on the die.
6 on the die? Okay. Oh, okay. And Amun. Alright, I would like you to roll me one more d20 just to see how well... It's just a flat roll, just to see how well Mowgli gets through the webs.
Okay. Big money, big money.
Over a 10, you're going to get through them.
That's crazy because I just rolled a 3.
Okay, Mowgli's still struggling with them. He only has like a bladed mace, so his ability to cut is very limited.
You're doing your best, General. I say that in our head.
Perfect. As you get close to these red caps, recording these, 2 of the red caps are going to go first. They see you. They hear your words. They find you to be a liar. they are going to decide to cause pain on you.
Hey.
So they're going to take 2 attacks each. One of those attacks is a 15. I imagine that does not hit.
That does hit because I totally forgot to grab my shield.
Oh. All right. The other one's a 19 on the die, which I think is going to naturally hit.
Yep.
So, one red cap, you hear him clinking on the scales with his metal boots. He's going to rush and drop kick you as hard as he possibly can. So that is going to require you to give me a strength saving throw.
Okay.
Which you are good at.
I'm good at this. That's a natural 14 for a 21.
Perfect. You will not be knocked prone by this by any means. However, you will take, 20 points of bludgeoning damage.
Damn, you rolled well.
Yes, he did. And he is going to... Actually, I'm going to say that's only going to be his 1 attack. The other one's going to take his 2 attacks. That's not going to hit. Lovely enough. 2 on the die. And a 10 is not going to hit. So, you only take that 20 points of bludgeoning damage, which is enough, if we're being honest.
Yep. Wait, they both got higher than me in initiative? Gross.
The 2 of the 3 did, yes.
Okay, alright, fuck.
Very high rolls. But that is up to you next.
Okay, so, still gonna be doing that guiding bolt straight at the sarcophagus.
Okay.
And
I'm gonna say that happened beforehand. So roll the damage or roll the hit for that.
Oh sure, yeah.
I'm definitely gonna say that you were able to get that in before the combat started.
That'll be 15 points of damage. Do you have a number already in your mind for how much damage Rebuke the Violent did?
I do. It has to make a saving throw, I believe, correct?
Yep, and it takes half damage on the saving throw.
What is the DC and is it wisdom?
So it'll be a Wisdom DC 15. But if it's a
DC 15.
sarcophagus, is it a person? Can it make a saving throw? I don't know. That's
It's
for you to
more so
decide.
you're attacking the individual who just came back inside. Uh, they have a decent wisdom save. You said 15?
Yep.
Okay. They have a decent wisdom. See how well this goes. Hopefully not well at all. That is a 17 on the die, so it's going to take half that damage.
Okay.
And
And
I'm going to roll a number of D8s. That's going to be 12 points is the halved damage of the D8s.
all
No.
right,
Yeah, it's going to be 12.
not too bad.
So yeah, the sarcophagus, the eyes inside of it that were glowing ever so brightly have begun to fade ever so slightly, and Ion is beginning to push forward as hard as she possibly can. Is that it for your turn?
No, I will start to slowly walk forward. How far away am I from this? I'm probably 40 feet away from the sarcophagus.
At this point in time, you're about 35 feet away. The red caps themselves have moved up into melee range, uh, except for one of them.
Okay. Then I'm going to. The conversation is over with the red caps. I'm now pretending that they don't exist. I'm gonna bonus.
Okay.
I'm bonus actioning casting sanctuary on myself, and
Uh,
I'm gonna just walk forward and approach the sarcophagus.
well played. Uh, Let me see what their stats are for wisdom saves. I bet they're not great by any means. Yep, that's that's not great. DC 15.
DC 15.
All right, the two opportunity attacks that these individuals would be trying to make. Yep, that's a 4 on the die and a 15 for a 13. So they can't take attacks on you.
Yeah, I'm gonna maintain the glowing eyes, but instead of creating those glyphs that I created earlier of Osiris and Anubis, I'm just gonna create a big, just not big because it's just around my body, but it'll just be like a web of sorts. It's like a. I would say it's like a weave, but it's just little triangles all around me of just gold. It's like a gold orb of triangles that's around my body as it just catches and bounces blades off of me as I walk forward.
So Sanctuary, allowing you, while you are being passive and non-violent yourself, keeps them from attacking you, as long as they cannot make a wisdom save. However, they can attack someone else, but attacking Ion in this moment in time would do nothing but hurt them by spreading venom and acid onto themselves. So, these two literally have nothing that they can do with their opportunity attacks. So, you make your way. How much distance do you want to use? Do you want to use all of it?
All of it. I'm going up to that
Okay.
sarcophagus.
I'm going to say that you're going to make your way uh, past the third one as well, and he's going to roll a wisdom save. DC 15. He rolls a 14 on the die. You know that's not going to pass.
We
He
keep it
does the
moving.
same exact thing. He brings his weapon down upon you, his little reverse sickle, and it bounces off of your sanctuary. And he finds himself befuddled and angered.
Good. Good.
You make your way about 10 feet away from the. Oh no, 5 feet away from the actual sarcophagus itself, Isaiah. And is that the end of your turn?
Yep. I'll just end my turn there.
All right. The Red Caps fighting Amun are going to go. That's going to. You want to roll me a d20 just to see how well their battle will go?
Yeah, sure.
You're rolling for Amun. He gets a plus 10 to his roll.
So I just rolled a natural 18, so 28.
Okay. Okay. I rolled a 6. Okay. So Amun's doing great, you have a feeling. He hasn't even called upon a weapon. He's bragging a little bit about that he's tearing them limb from limb. Uh left and right. So, the third red cap, he's going to have his turn on you, Isaiah. He's going to try to make his attacks on you. I'm gonna say he's gonna try to do the drop kick on you, but he's got to break your sanctuary.
Yep, and then roll the hit, and then I have to save and all that, so it's
He
tough.
he rolled a 6 on the die.
Yeah.
He finds himself rushing towards you, full sprint, and basically face plants as he cannot find it within himself to lift his feet off of the ground to kick you. That is going to count as both of his attacks in this situation for the drop kick. Uh, yeah, that's going to be the end of his turn. Uh, I'm going to roll for Ion to see if she can break through herself. Rolling a natural 9 on the die. I'm going to give her a plus 8 to that roll. I'm going to say that she's going to start moving forward a little bit faster at this point in time.
Awesome.
Would you like to roll for Mowgli, please?
Yes, I would love to.
Just to share the rolls a little bit. Have fun.
You got a flat 10.
A flat 10. Mowgli cleaves his way through. As he does so, Mowgli's scout, the legendary bird formerly known as Tink, makes his way towards you, Isaiah.
God bless. God bless.
That is going to go back to the two red caps that are going to roll once again. They are swearing in every language, Sylvan, Old Jabaxi. What is this? Why can we not strike upon him? Oh, Isaiah. One of them rolls a natural 18.
Mmm.
He breaks through your sanctuary. Does that dispel it altogether?
No.
It does not?
No. Let me just double check and confirm. Uh. Does not protect the word for many years. What makes an attack? Spell ends. Yeah, no, it only ends after the minute or if I do something that's aggressive.
Okay. He is going to take his 2 attacks on you. Or does he have to make the save every time he attacks?
Uh,
Okay.
Says the warded creature with an attack or a harmful spell must first make a wisdom saving throw. So I would assume just the attack action. I don't know if it'll be individual strikes since the attack action includes 2 hits.
Okay.
So the one should be able to do it.
I'm going to roll... Yeah, I'll roll the second attack as well. That's going to be 8 points of slashing damage onto you, Isaiah.
Well, oh, did you roll the hit?
I rolled to... Yes, I rolled a natural 18 to hit.
But was that the wisdom save?
The wisdom save came first. I believe that was already stated. I don't remember the actual thing. I will be honest. I'm not focusing on that.
Okay.
This second roll is a natural 19 to hit.
Oh, okay, go. Okay.
So he's going to do 8 points of slashing damage on that first hit. Rolling again. Oh, wow. I rolled both of my d8s, and they landed on top of each other.
That's beautiful.
For a 3. So that's going to be
11.
$13 in total. I had to remember what his flat was.
So the first attack was 11 points, and the other one was 3 points.
3 on the die
Plus 8? Or not? Or no,
plus 8
11.
altogether.
Okay. The math is mathing.
I wish we could edit out math like D20, Dimension
Yeah.
20.
Yep.
But here we go.
You hit me.
He hits you. He has broken free this time, and he relishes in the chance to spill your undead blood. However, it is now your turn, Isaiah. What is your mode of operations here?
I'm gonna keep walking forward towards the
All right.
sarcophagus.
Then I'm going to say he's going to have to make another wisdom save to see if he can get this opportunity attack upon you.
Isn't it 2 of them?
It would be 2, that's right, because the other one moved up to attack. But here comes 2 more wisdom saves. An 11 and a natural 20. So one of these attacks will be made. Making the attack, that's a 3 on the die, it does not land. You are walking towards the sarcophagus.
Oh, it gets in the bubble, but it doesn't touch me. Ooh, I'm too
Mhm.
slick.
So Isaiah, you make your way to the sarcophagus.
Can I make out any details up close that I couldn't pick up on further away?
Getting up close to it, you may roll me an Arcana for the mechanics. And now that you're very close to it, I'm going to say you can roll me History with advantage.
Okay, the Arcana check is this. A 12 for a 16.
12 for a 16. This thing is siphoning power into, or I should say, this acid, which is a very powerful acid, the venom of the children of Apophis. You can imagine that Apophis probably shares the same feature with his brood. This type of impossibly dangerous venom-like acid, or acid-like venom, is primordial and capable of melting things that should not and are not supposed to be able to be destroyed. Anyone who could find a way to store this, uh, not such as yourself, with ill intent, could cause major damage, use it as a component for an incredibly dangerous spell, and possibly bring back to life someone who should not be brought back. Have you rolled your history yet?
No, I will roll history now. The largest roll was a 15.
A 15. Isaiah, you look at this sarcophagus. It's difficult to describe how it is inscribed, but as you know, hieroglyphics tell a story through images. The being inside of the sarcophagus is depicted through words with the title Eater of Hope. Depicted upon the sarcophagus, you see what looks to be a pharaoh.
Interesting.
And as you know, Jabaxi does not have pharaohs.
Yeah, yep. So. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go behind the sarcophagus, and I'm going to take my Singer of the Webweaver, and I'm going to try to plunge it straight through the sarcophagus so that it's in the center of it. But like slowly. I just want to just give it a nice good push straight in. And the next thing I'll do after that, I guess let's see if I can even get the sword into the sarcophagus, and then I'll tell you what I'm gonna do next.
I will say roll me a athletics check.
We'll do this. It's a natural 10 for a 14.
14. Isaiah, you're able to circle around the sarcophagus. Elaborate as it may be, it has been altered, no longer being a resting place for this individual known as the Eater of Hope. This has been modified very clearly to perform this task of siphoning this acid. You are able to, ridiculously enough, with any other type of weapon, it would never work to try to slide a Kopesh into a solid object such as this. Isaiah, you're able to push the Stinger of the Webweaver, this former weapon of Neath, deep enough into the sarcophagus where it doesn't go all the way through, but you're able to get it in about maybe about half a foot or so until it hits something that it can no longer go past with that roll.
And once I feel like the stop, that is when I'm going to bonus action Thunderous Smite.
Okay. You're going to bonus action Thunderous Smite.
I'm going to bonus
All right.
action Thunderous Smite this Stinger of the Webweaver, and I'm going to see if this knocks the door off the sarcophagus.
This is very strange, and I love the idea of it. Potentially dangerous for you and everyone involved, as you know that this is being filled with the acid of Ion. But I love it because this is some bullshit.
It's a Michael Bay film.
It is, and I really didn't expect this at all. But I love it. I think, Isaiah, roll me a d20 and just add your charisma modifier to it. We're just gonna see what happens, you know? If it is above 15, it's really good for you. If it's below 10, it's all right. No, below 10, it's bad. But if it's in between, it's gonna be slightly dangerous.
It is a natural 17 for a dirty 20.
Okay, Isaiah. You perform the incantation for Thunderous Smite, channeling your power into it, into this Kopesh that is deep into this sarcophagus. As you do so, the venom from extracted from Ion shoots out of the eyes of the sarcophagus and strikes the red caps themselves. Would you be so kind as to roll me 4d10?
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, fuck.
I'm going to say this is a dex save for them. Ion cannot be killed or harmed by her own acid. And none of the acid is splashing towards you, so you're doing pretty good in this situation.
That is going to be 27 points total of acid damage.
Oh my god. I'm going to say that since you didn't know this would happen, this is not going to break your sanctuary. Because life is just like that sometimes.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So these guys are going to roll dex saves. Red Caps have surprisingly not bad dex, but here's the thing. They are wearing iron boots, and Ion has started moving. So they have to keep their balance and avoid this spraying acid that has just become a lethal weapon in this situation. So I'm going to say that they're going to make these with disadvantage. Terrible. Fail. That's cocked.
That's
still a
cocked.
fail. And the third one I'm going to say was distant enough not to get hit by it. How much damage was it again, Isaiah?
27 points of acid damage.
27 points is a decent amount of damage. That is very dangerous. And since they both failed, some of them failing under 5, or one of them failing under 5. Isaiah, I'm going to say that one of them, you see the acid spray out. You see the full lethality of how dangerous it is. His sickle is split in half immediately, and he has to drop it before it can consume his hands.
Oof.
The other one looks to be incredibly hurt, but Isaiah, I'm going to say with that moment of amazing ingenuity, you see a number of lights further down the tunnel as well, and you know what that means. Uh, I'm going to say with how well you rolled on that, the sarcophagus is going to be at the first threshold of 3 to being ejected from Ion.
Does the door come off when I Thunderous Smite?
Here's the thing. You did a quick circle around it, Isaiah. You let off a huge thunderous smite itself without striking. You look at the sarcophagus. It's not made to open anymore. It's been sealed shut
Oh.
through some type of means of modification. The same means that has turned it into a means of, or an ability to siphon things,
Okay.
which adds another moment of what the fuck are these red caps doing here?
Okay. So I'm just for the funsies. I'm rolling the 2d6 thunder damage just for the funds.
Yeah,
Holy
roll it.
shit. Both of them are 6s. So that's an additional
Oh my
12 points
god.
of thunder damage. And because it's a fucking box and Thunderous Smite says your weapon rings with thunder that is audible within 300 feet around me, I would like to think that whatever is in there, you know, the Eater of Hope, is now a fucking death bitch.
You can safely be assured that the Eater of Hope, who has just been awakened, doesn't want to be awakened anymore.
Yeah,
Currently.
it's just like they just got concussion flashbanged into this box. Oh, man.
So, roll me another d20 to see how well Ra's doing,
Okay.
or Amun,
Okay. That's plus 10 still?
plus 10.
Okay, that's a natural 3 for a 13.
Okay, so let's see here. Well, you know what? A natural 4 on my side is not going to beat that. Amun has mostly clean shop, it seems, and he is going to start making his way towards you, Isaiah. You know he's flying. He's giving you a GoPro look as he can see your fortification, as he's ducking past rocky structures, as they're beginning to enclose around you and shatter as Ion is thrashing and trying to keep her calm, even though this incredible amount of pain is happening. Isaiah, you have thoroughly ruined the plans of these particular red caps, and so has Ra. However, there could be more.
There definitely could be more. And with that, I'm going to. Is it my. No, it's not my turn. It's their turn.
Your turn is concluded unless you had anything else you wanted to do.
Yeah, no, that would be everything. So actually, I changed my mind. I'm gonna do something at the end of my turn. I'm gonna peer out from behind the sarcophagus at the red caps, still with my sanctuary on, as you have mentioned, and with my glowing eyes. I'm gonna look at them and I'm going to say, uh, unless you eject this sarcophagus from this vessel, I will send you far deeper into the underworld and make you more undead than you could possibly imagine. And then I'll end my turn.
Yeah, you know, roll me an intimidation check.
It's a natural 9 for a 16.
I'm gonna roll an insight check from the red cap that I will declare as the leader in this situation. You said you got a 14?
16 total.
16 total? All right. He got a, let's see, Anything to insight? Any good wisdom here? No, no, a negative to wisdom. Uh, the red cap leader, you feel like he doesn't have the confidence that he formerly did that he can actually beat you in this fight with just his two companions currently. However, he's not going to back down fully, but you can very clearly see in his eyes that his plans have changed dramatically.
Interesting.
But that is going to round up to the third red cap's turn. I'm going to say that he is going to have reduced movement as he's going to want to avoid the acid that has been sprayed upon Ion's body that is slowly whipping away after a turn. Once your turn comes back around, it'll be fully dissipated due to the momentum. But however, he's going to avoid it. I'm going to see natural 17 on the die, so he's doing good on that. He's not going to make it all the way to you, but you're going to see him make his way in your direction. He has not been deterred in attacking you at all currently. That is going to end his turn. The two red caps that are closest to you who have been sprayed, the one without a weapon is going to start running past you in the direction of Amun. He makes a note to get a wide breadth from you to avoid an opportunity attack. He just completely blows past you. The second one is going to get on top of the sarcophagus. And he's going to end his turn there.
Where does it bring the action order to?
That brings it to you, Isaiah.
Um. Hmm. I think I will. Oh, this little rat fuck. Respectfully. So the acid has dissipated, like you said.
Around your turn, yes, it's going to have wiped away completely at this point.
Okay.
You have a feeling that a decent amount of the acid has been ejected from the sarcophagus, and it's almost restarting the entire order all over again in draining it.
Hmm. How wide is Ion's body?
It's pretty wide. You have a good, like, maybe 6 feet to 8 feet in width to walk on before you're even walking on the side. Like, getting close to slipping off the edge, which has given them a decent amount of distance. They have appropriately placed the sarcophagus aligned with your barricade, knowing that Ion would not have tried to thrash this off with without the mind of hurting you as well.
Okay.
However, you can walk freely around the serpent in a full 360-degree area with your spider climb, as long as you hold the Kopesh.
Oh, yeah.
They cannot.
Then, in that case, I think I'm going to climb on top of the sarcophagus as well.
Okay, I'm going to say that is not very big. This is a small creature, so I'm going to say that you can... this is a really weird thing to do, bro. Really weird thing to do.
I'm trying to be efficient. Trying to be efficient.
Yeah, just roll me a... You're not going to have a problem getting up there. but you're not very good at dex. So I'm going to say that you're trying to balance like on top partially of this red cap and on top of the sarcophagus as well. So roll me a DC 10 dex check.
Bet, bet, bet. How hard
While
can
he
it
just
be?
screams, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this? It doesn't make any sense."
It's a natural 7 for a 6.
Natural 7 for 6. Okay. Yeah, you're not quite able to get on top of it. You don't fall all the way down, but you do waste about 5 feet of your movement
Interesting.
getting up there. Do you leave the Kopesh in the sarcophagus?
Oh, that's a good point. I think I would leave it there. I
Okay.
think I would leave it there. I mean, that would inhibit any, not any, but I feel like in my mind it would inhibit some sort of progress for the uh, whatever is inside to come out. So I would leave it there for the encounter. Um, can I, as I fall down, is it possible to expend my reaction to try to grab the red cap's ankle and pull it down?
I will say that you most certainly can. It will be a contested athletics check. The red cap gets a +6 to his athletics,
Okay.
and I will roll his die first so that you can possibly beat it. He rolled a 9 on the die, so a 15. So you must beat a 15.
I got a 13 for a 17 for my
All
athletics
right.
check.
Isaiah, you use your momentum. You grab him by his ankle. All you have to do is get him to lose his balance ever so slightly, and his iron boots will do the rest. As long as it's not a very Actually, I just realized something. You can't fall off the sarcophagus because you have spider climb. As
No,
long as
I'm
you
not
hang on
holding
to the
it.
Kopesh.
I'm not
Oh, you're
holding
not?
it.
Okay, never mind.
It's in the sarcophagus
Yep.
right now.
Yep.
So,
You throw him off.
yep.
He falls down with you.
But as I grab the ankle, because that's what the athletics check is, but right now, now that his ankle is in my hand and I'm falling off the sarcophagus, I'm going to use my falling momentum to, you know, it's like the over the head kind of like tricep pull. I'm going to throw him off Ion if I can, off the side.
Okay. I'm absolutely going to say this is going to break your sanctuary just because you're lethally trying to
No, I'm just,
kill this creature
no,
now.
I'm just throwing. Just throwing.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're just throwing.
It's
Okay,
throwing. It's just
Isaiah, I'm
throwing.
going to say that you're very aware of the protrusions of rock that have been come across, and you eye one. Uh, and you know how much damage that could do. Um, it will absolutely break your sanctuary if you want to roll 4d10 bludgeoning damage.
Oh yeah, I'm throwing. I'm full sending this red cap in.
All right. I'm gonna I'm gonna roll him a dex check just to see if he can avoid anything.
It's gonna be.
Yeah,
Would you say it's piercing damage?
no, it's bludgeoning damage.
It'll be 31 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yeah, this red cap, he rolled an 11 on a dex check to like possibly curb the damage at all, and he becomes a red spot.
Yeah. Yep. 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 Yep.
The other one before you now is looking a little worse for wear as well. He took a lot of acid damage, and you have a feeling that they don't have much left inside of them at this point.
Um. Would that count as would a throw would count as an action, right?
I'll give that as an attack if you want to make that the attack action.
Okay. If it's an attack, is that the only thing I can do? Because I know there's technically two strikes you can do. I don't know if the throw would count as both of them.
I'll count it as one since they're small.
Okay. Then in that case, I will return back to my Kopesh, and I will I will pull back on it like about like 5 inches or so, 6 inches, pull back a little bit, and then I'll push the sword down so it's kind of pointing up a little bit more, and I'm gonna do another like deep plunge straight up into the sarcophagus, but like different, more upwards angle.
All right, roll me an attack this time.
Okay. Um, I don't know how you want to rule this. Would this technically be advantage since there's no? It's
It
not moving. It's kind of. It just is.
I won't say it's advantage because it is rather fortified. You're
Okay.
trying to get into the being that's on the inside,
Okay.
and they themselves have an AC as well.
Okay. 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 So that is going to be a natural 15 for a 24.
Okay, yeah, that's gonna hit. Uh, this is my question for you. Are you gonna use any smites?
I already burnt a lot of spell slots, and I haven't even gotten to the underworld. Ooh, fuck. Ooh, fuck. Fuck. I think for just the name, for what the name is, I'm kind of shooketh by the name. I'll say that. So I'll burn 1 second level Divine Smite to wreak some havoc in there. So I would assume. Okay, so Divine Smite would be. That's a lot of D8. So
The being inside is undead, so you will roll an extra D8 as well.
2d8 to the target plus 1d8 for every. So 2d8. So 38. So it says. So it says plus 1d8 against undead or fiends. Does that scale with the level of Divine Smite, or is it always, regardless of level, only going to be 1d8 against undead or fiends?
It will always be one additional D8. So
Okay.
with a second level Divine Smite, I believe that is
That's 48.
48, yes. And your Kopesh, I believe, has an extra die to its damage as well, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Remember these things,
A
yes.
lot of things to remember. So that's going to be 18 radiant damage. Potentially doubled if it's not, or if it's vulnerable to radiant damage. I don't know how undead technically work, but 18 radiant damage. I rolled a 10 on the Kopesh, so that's going to be 15 slashing damage. And then I get to roll an additional die for force damage. Um, plus 7 points of force damage. And not that it matters, but since I have the slasher feat, dealing slashing damage with a weapon, their speed is reduced by 10 feet until the start of my next turn. So you're moving even less now. But regardless, 7 plus 18 plus 15 is 40 points of damage total.
It's plenty enough damage to put back to sleep the being inside. The Eater of Hope, I will say that you definitely made the right move. You no longer have this active undead presence inside of the sarcophagus as one last thunderous boom and radiant smite goes off inside of it. The remainder of the venom acid spills out. It will engulf the red cap. Dex save, not enough. He doesn't have enough HP, I feel like, to survive, but just in case, I'm just going to roll real quick and see. Isaiah, the lights you see moving ahead of you, or coming ahead of you, uh, they appear to be different. Illuminated in some type of greenish blue glow, you find them to be two large sources of light that are almost twisting upon this circular avenue that you're traveling down as Ion herself feels the sarcophagus begin to release from her body. Uh, it begins to eject. I assume you'll push yourself out of the way before it strikes you.
The sarcophagus.
Yes,
Does the sarcophagus have handles on it? How is it carried
to a
around?
degree. Yeah, it does. It does have handholds.
Okay, I'll
Do you
get
want
out
to
of the
hang on to it?
I'll get out of the way of it, but I am gonna hold on to it. And I
Okay.
will, with
Well,
my other hand, hold on to the back of Ion in case the velocity is gonna jerk me back.
I would say just roll me an athletics check real quick to hang on to this big thing.
All right. It's gonna be a 4 for an 8.
Isaiah, I'm gonna say, here's the thing. You could possibly learn something from this sarcophagus by a long shot. So you make the choice. You can either take some damage to hang on to it and travel down Ion herself with a possibility of making the save again, or you can let go.
I'm keeping the sarcophagus.
All right, my guy. I respect the hustle here. Roll me a Constitution save.
Constitution save. Okay.
You're gonna be hitting a bit of the surface here, and
Yes. So that's gonna be a natural 17 for a 21.
very good, very very good. So you take 15 points of bludgeoning damage is all.
15 points. Okay.
15 points. You bounce off of the corridor, avenue, highway, whatever you want to call it, hit into Ion a few times, and you manage to find yourself amongst a couple of the spines. Roll me another athletics check. This time the DC will be lowered because you actually have something to grab onto currently.
A natural 19 for a 23.
Oh yeah, you're lodged in. You're able to stick it between a couple of the spines of Ion, non-lethally, obviously, like like slipping a cigarette into one's ear
Yep.
for later. And you're able to get yourself into a position where you feel Ion's momentum kicking off, and you hear Amun fighting again behind you. And Amun says, almost hurriedly, I think this is the last of them. Ion, are you still feeling alright? And Ion speaks out in primordial, a deep accent. I have dealt worse. I have dealt with worse than these dredges. I would appreciate some healing, though. And Mowgli says, I think we're on the precipice of the underworld. I see. And as he says that, you make yourself no. You basically crest over an entrance and you see the two sources of light. You see the lake of fire burning in this bluish green image. You see the Acropolis of Anubis and Osiris distantly from this high up point. You see a number of reeds in the far distance, the outskirts, well past the Acropolis. You see impossibly large scales of justice and judgment in the distance. Isaiah, you also notice something else, a deep pain in your chest. And as you look down, your breastplate opens up, and inside a scroll makes itself visible to you, jutting from your chest. And you see Amun Ra from behind, making his way towards you, fall out of the sky and land directly on Ion as his light dissipates almost altogether. And he looks up at you with sallow-looking eyes and a look as a man who has lost majority of the power he once held. Isaiah, you're looking at your chest. You have a feeling that you know exactly what this thing is. It's your Book of the Dead.
Oh shit. All right. All right. All right. I think what I would do immediately right away, because we're not actually at a spot where we could just, chill per se. I will take the scroll out of my chest breastplate, and then I will put it in my satchel for now. And I think
Uh,
sorry, go ahead.
Unfortunately, you try to pull it out and you're unable to remove it completely. It seems to be jutting itself out, has deteriorated your breastplate, revealing your horrible, ghastly wound, but it cannot be removed by someone, especially not the person who it belongs to. It's meant to review your life and to cast judgment upon yourself. Well, not
Um,
yourself, but judgment to be cast upon you.
okay. Then in that case, I will. Oh man! Oh man! Shh. Is the mental connection with everyone in the party still active?
You try to tap into it, it is not. You look over towards Amun, and Amun seems to be dimmed by being in the presence of the underworld. Gets himself onto his feet for a second, and then falls back down onto the scales of Ion and just kind of clutches onto his spine, hoping to find any type of safety in this journey. And Ion picks up speed for a second in time. You see what looks to be a area where she begins to wrap her body around and begins to park herself.
Um, I will usher Mowgli over and say, "You must now lead Amun Ra throughout the underworld, since he is not in a fit state."
Yeah,
And
you look at Amun and he looks ill. He looks ill.
yeah, he's ill, but he's also ill. So that will be Mowgli's task. I want him to, kind of like fucking Marine Corps, just have his arm slung over his bare shoulders, and he carries him out up to the crown. But I also want Mowgli. I'll look at Mowgli and say, while you carry Amun, if you could also help me lift this sarcophagus. I think I have an idea with what to do with it.
Mowgli looks at that and he's like, "What? Why would someone bring a sarcophagus? Isaiah, we didn't have time to pick this up. Where did you even get it?" And Amun, not joking at all, give me a perception check real quick.
Yeah, I can do that. That's gonna be a 9 for a 10.
9 for a 10. Good enough. Amun, you're able to get a look at him. Amun's chest, while not having a gaping wound like yours, you see the faint, almost ethereal image of a scroll of the dead or a book of the dead, but his is almost thicker than the entirety of his torso. As the time that he has been alive is
Too many books.
it's too many books. It's much, much bigger than any other individual you've ever seen. and you've seen depictions of, like your Magi training, if you ever want to swear an oath to Anubis or, anything like that. And then you've seen your own and you realize that, oh, you've been alive for a long time. And that's a lot of judgments
Yeah.
that can be cast. Ion also shifts back into her lizard folk form and makes herself known to you guys. She looks ill, but you don't feel like it's because she's crossed the boundary of the uh, underworld. You think it's from the extraction.
Okay.
And she sees the sarcophagus and kicks it immediately with a very heavy blow.
Um, I think first and foremost, I would like to see if I can extrapolate any additional information from it.
You try to. Uh, what would you? Is there anything specific, or you just want to see if there's anything else
I wanted to
tied to
see
the
if the
sarcophagus?
hieroglyphics tied to this thing, what the intent behind it was. Because I do know that there are no pharaohs in Jabaxi, yet this box would try to claim otherwise. If this was just
Uh,
some type of long con.
you look at the sarcophagus. You look at the hieroglyphics. Some of the actual hieroglyphics themselves have been covered up by the modifications. This frame that's been built around it, that has, partially been built in the same way to almost to trick someone into thinking that it was meant to be this way, but it does block some of the texts themselves, almost leaving blank spots on purpose. You have a feeling that it's been sealed for the purpose of not allowing the being out. And you know that the being inside no longer draws breath or undeath breath, which was fun to say.
Yeah.
But the
Say it again. Say it again. I know it felt good.
undeath breath.
Okay. Okay.
Because as you are undead, you do not breathe, but you are also not dead as you were undead, and you're not alive, you're undead. It's crazy to think about. Not
Mmm.
quite the same thing. Uh,
Semantics.
semantics are interesting, and it's definitely not the same thing of you are, because you're capable of breath now. However, you do not require it. Isaiah, you feel both very terrible and strangely powerful at this moment in time. Isaiah, you know your main oath or the main source of power for you comes from Osiris, and you are currently closer to him than you have ever been in physical, parameters.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you are overdue for judgment.
Fuck. Ooh, fuck.
And you can't help but feel that part of you thinks that this is the end. But that part of you is almost like that slow calculating part of saying, hey, we can just finish this. We can just let it go. But you know you have things to do. You can't quite give things up. And part of your mind makes you think about the stories you hear about individuals trying to come to the underworld from a multitude of different cultures. Even Salia had individuals that tried to do this. And you're looking from the top of this cliff at the individual, or, the underworld itself. You see the Acropolis, the main citadel for the gods and their many, like, followers and knights. You look at the sarcophagus, it doesn't look anything like that. And the only person you know that has mentioned the pharaohs by name is Amun himself. And he talked about how he was the last pharaoh of what was formerly known as Jabaxi.
I would.
And the moment he crossed into the underworld, he suddenly lost seemingly his power, his mojo. It's gone.
Damn. He's Austin Powers now.
He is Austin Powers.
Uh, I would look over to Amun and I would say, do you know anything more about this individual?
Amun looks at the sarcophagus and he takes his time for a minute, almost like he's catching his breath. Um, takes a deep inhalation and almost flexes to try to right himself and stand himself up tall. And he seems to find himself. He seems to find his strength for a moment. And he takes a moment in time and he looks at the sarcophagus. And you see his eyes widen for a minute in time. And he says, "The old world. This is from the old world. They those they were fey creatures." And you think about this, Isaiah, you don't hear too many stories about, anything other than elves or maybe the offshoot centaurs or something of the sort, some satyrs in Jabaxi, but you've recently been seeing far more sylvan type individuals and fey creatures that seem to have
Why did you say that
lost their
name?
yeah, oh god, that seem to have it's wrong association.
Oh,
They seem to have this type of former kingdom here before Jabaxi was placed into Terra Grigia and it became part of Salia. Uh, and even more so than just becoming part of Salia, it became part of its own world inside of the world of Salia. So you have to imagine that a number of these individuals are from that previous world. Amun goes on to explain that while he cannot remember the name of the Eater of Hope and he cannot decipher the specific hieroglyphics that depict the name itself, because that knowledge, the magic itself, is so powerful that from the world that was destroyed that it ceases to exist. He does remember that this used to be a pharaoh of Jabaxi. And then he suddenly realizes that there are names that he can remember and names that he cannot remember. And it dawns on him that that is a strange thing, because if this person was a pharaoh and he doesn't obviously know anything about the sarcophagus itself, do you share with him that you felt an undead presence?
I would. I would tell him that I felt something go from dead in the absent nothingness, a void of entropy kind of sense, to an undead presence of it's not there but yet it's animated but stuck in the sarcophagus when it was dug into ion and siphoning what I would assume to be you know her veins, her vats of acid that are in her body.
Ion looks at you when you share that information, and she speaks with a bit of vitriol, but she calms herself. "My essence is that of the old world. I am older even than Amun Ra himself. But how could they have taken my essence and used it to bring life back? That is not the association that I would consider being natural
Well,
for
Ion,
what my acid does."
if you look around, this very place is the reason why I'm even alive. So don't assume the strongest associations of death are impossible or incapable of creating or facilitating life.
You see a look upon her face like, despite the fact that she is maybe not the most knowledgeable person, she does have ancient knowledge, but she realizes that when it comes to what's been going on with you and some of these things, and she realizes that this has happened more than once, she still has a lot to learn. And that despite its nature, the purpose of her acid, her venom, or her blood can be used for something else that she did not previously consider. Amun thinks about this for a moment in time, begins to become a little bit more raspy, and he takes a moment and he speaks. Isaiah, there is a possibility there are other former pharaohs out there now. Take heed these names. The names I can remember currently. If Abalon, Paraxes, and Cleopatra have returned, the rest of them I cannot recall. So we may be safe. Chibaxi might be in more danger than we thought. Or the schemings of the underworld are beyond me. I have never journeyed here, and now I realize that I never wished to. This place has sapped me of my strength. I did not allow them to plant the sarcophagus within Ion in time, but I did see a third. He sits down for a moment in time. Ion, I cannot heal you. I wish I would have acted sooner. Had I known, we must make our journey fast. I find myself drawn to the gates. And Isaiah, I would say that same feeling is in you, but you do not feel nearly as much of an interest. But, you know, the field of reeds does look inviting.
Interesting. I look at Amun-Ra and I say, I have no desire to keep us here any longer than need be, but we must address every challenge as it is presented towards us. And right now, we cannot just simply neglect this sarcophagus. Like you said, if pharaohs are returning, then we must make do that that is not the case. For I would prefer to be the one and only outlier in which the undead were to be kept alive, but only through the blessing of Osiris or Anubis, and not through means as grossly violating as this. And I will look up towards Ion and with a very strict face, not no play at all. And I will look at Ion and I will say, Ion, break this sarcophagus open, please.
Ion will absolutely give it a axe kick, raising her legs straight up into the air, dropping her heel on top of it. You feel the ground beneath shake, and she snaps the engineering and the sarcophagus itself into pieces.
Do I notice anything about the body that's inside?
You look inside. You see what looks to be... I will interpret it for you. The most horrifying thing you've ever seen. The IRS. No.
Oh my god! No! I open my Book of the Dead. Is there a W-2 in here?
Yes, there is. Actually, that's what it is. Ah! Isaiah, as you look inside, the individual inside is no longer rejuvenated, fully dried up in a mummified mode. is this serpentine-tailed individual with very dark skin, kind of a narrow-jawed face, very narrow ears, almost a muscular upper body, and a crest-like crown headpiece that moves up like exaggerated tiefling's horns that almost touch at a tip and then jut off in an outward direction. This individual seems to be both serpentine and winged, with claws upon the wings. Uh, Currently, in its current form, seems to be fully dead in a mummified state. The bandages that were formerly on it were removed by a Kopesh to the back. This mummy lord did not rejuvenate in time.
Um, since the body has already been desecrated, uh, I don't have any necessarily intentions of doing the same thing, especially if more of these caps decide to get gully gully and try to bring it back. So I will pick up the corpse and I will look over to big old Mama Ion and I will say, please be rid of this pharaoh so that he may never risk returning again. Make sure you swish him around like mouthwash, please. And I will hold up the whole corpse for Ion to take.
Ion, initially hesitant in this situation, she begins to, before she does so, transform back into her serpentine form. She spits upon the corpse itself, and the corpse absorbs the acid. And the eyes
Oh,
begin to glow,
interesting.
and suddenly the fingers begin to curl, Isaiah. And before anything can happen, Mowgli hits it with his mace in the face.
Interesting.
This should not be possible. Something has altered these corpses.
Can I?
Mowgli hits it again.
Good job, General Mowgli.
For good
Can
measure.
can I make a history check or arcana check to figure out what creatures or entities from the old world would gain or benefit from old world magics or specifically acid, either one, when being in contact with them?
I would say that from your natural knowledge, this is an unprecedented event that you cannot fathom necessarily.
There's no
However,
tracing.
there's nothing in your initial thoughts. But Isaiah, in your short term as an adventurer, you've seen the core of a mountain turn into a siphoning device for a wild magic sorcerer that was there for nearly 600, 700 years or so.
Yeah.
So you know anything is possible.
Okay.
Part of that magic still exists within you from your time being stuck in Maze's imprisonment.
Yeah.
And you know that someone with the education of a wizard, with arcane knowledge like that, this would be probably up their alley, or Eset. If you could find Eset. And then another thought comes across you. Those individuals themselves, they didn't seem to be associated with the murderous god Set himself. But if there's anyone that would know, it would be maybe a high-ranking official of his.
Or himself.
he himself could possibly know. But you look out, Isaiah, across the underworld. You see the lake of fire. Ion begins to speak her travels that she is going to make sure that they avoid the lake of fire altogether, avoid the scales of judgment, uh, add caution to any knights of Anubis that might see them, as combat will more than likely conclude in their death if weapons are drawn. Obviously, avoiding that would be the top priority, even for Ion. However, there are places in the underworld that you don't recognize, and Ion has not traveled through herself. And you feel the presence of different followers, almost like a connection with individuals that have sworn oaths similar to you, not your current oath, but the oaths beforehand. And you feel like there are those who have not been judged distantly, not quite at the field of reeds, which to go to the field of reeds without passing through judgment would be uh you don't know, but that would be sacrilegious at best.
Yeah.
There there seems to be a field that's covered in almost like a haze that you can't see through. It's very odd. But you feel like your team itself lacks the judgment, but you feel a presence of individuals there. You feel something drawing you from this individual space. Obviously, you feel being the essence of yours being drawn towards judgment, the lake of fire, you name it. But there's almost a passive one from there. And you feel like it's a very good idea not to leave this body where it lies.
Do I know if the Lake of Fire is also a vat of just old magic?
You have the feeling that the lake of fire is absolutely that. Nothing gets out of it as far as you know. You see a number of souls and essences being almost ushered towards the scales of judgment themselves. Those who have made it past the children of Apophis, Apep himself, and well, even our homie Ahmet. Ahmet will absolutely take any individual they can get their jaws upon, even before judgment themselves, not being a good inclined creature by any means. What's your move, Isaiah?
Since I have no clear path of how to dispose of this body, I think I'm going to fashion him as a backpack onto Mowgli as of now.
Okay. All right.
Mowgli being the brave, tough general he is, I don't think he's too bothered by another undead body that's close to him. He tolerates me, so I appreciate that. What I think I will also do is I will take 2 or 3 chunks of the sarcophagus, and I will fashion a little like web satchel of sorts, and I will have that be slung over Mowgli as well to carry, because I'm very interested in these pieces. And with that, I know that
Do you take the
there's
face piece?
the what?
Do you take the face piece of the sarcophagus?
Do I know the significance of the face piece of the? Oh, where the eyes were glowing.
Yes.
Oh shit. Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay. You take the face piece. That'll come in handy later.
Um,
Uh, Mowgli starts spilling the beans on what he learned from the underworld, from the shrine and such. He's giving you the good pointers on what he thinks would be a good path, and Ion will do the same.
Give me a second. I'm gonna write some stuff down. Uh, so I'll ask this to Ion and Mowgli. What are your recommended, almost absolute, we cannot go there?
Well, Isaiah, I have discovered, through my research and my untapped knowledge from Eset herself, that the Acropolis leads directly towards the capital of if you didn't know, Jabaxi. We could go straight through the citadel in Pharos if we just neatly and nicely ask Osiris for a journey.
Any other suggestions?
There is also another secret journey. We could also go, and then Ion interrupts. There was once a woman who possessed a chest given to her by Anubis to capture immortals that escaped judgment and could not be slain, brought to the underworld. If we could find the entrance of this chest, we could possibly exit. And then Mowgli speaks up. That woman's chest is long gone. She's dead. We don't know where she. Isaiah, you can't even possibly believe that's a good idea. That could be under all miles of sand. It's not under miles of sand.
Um,
Isaiah, you know, he gets real close to you. You know that you, me, and Ion can make that journey, but he looks over at Amun. He would suffocate. And Amun doesn't even have any input. He's just
getting by.
staying awake. He's staying awake right now.
Yeah. Okay. Um,
We could also find another way. We could ask somebody. There's got to be other people down here, right, that are not associated?
is there any way of Mowgli, through your infinite wisdom and research that you've done so graciously, is there any way that you've found that while down here, any way that we can track any undead that are roaming the, I guess you would call overworld? Or is that not something that you know?
Mowgli brings up the thoughts of the Knights of Anubis are almost their main job is to keep undead from escaping. Especially those who do not seek to be judged and wish to avoid it altogether. There are those who always have stronger wills that will always try to find a way to avoid any type of judgment altogether. These individuals, these hunters, are known to employ both magics and deep martial prowess. They are typically, due to their no nonsense demeanor, strike first, ask questions later type of individuals. So the Knights of Anubis themselves should have some type of way to track undead, if not just through their training. There are others who could probably avoid them. So they have to have some type of way. So if they could possibly find an outpost, maybe, and maybe even then find a way to take a means to track undead. Or, Isaiah, since you do have, a divine sense, you don't know what it might do here in the underworld, but you have a feeling that if you were to use it here, it could disrupt some things.
Okay. Okay.
But it could help as well.
Um, I look over to Amun and I say, considering I have next to no uh, cachet with Anubis, and uh, we can't necessarily be playing around too much with Amun's life as it is in this state. I think it would be smarter to put my life on the line as we journey through this underworld. So I think the Acropolis is the only way that we mitigate a physical, violent confrontation while also not spending time potentially getting lost or encountering random variables while searching for Anubis. So I think going to the Acropolis is our move as of now.
Amun perks up when you say to cherish his life over yours. He rights himself and he says, "We are not making that trade, boy. This is your journey. You need to find the end of it. I don't want to die. I don't plan on seeking judgment anytime soon. But I will not sacrifice you for me. In the worst case scenario, we offer up that." And he points at the mummy on the back of uh,
Mowgli's back.
Mowgli. And then, in the best case scenario, I don't mind killing a few knights. We're already in the underworld. How far are they?
Well, Amun, I think your sentimentality is flattering and endearing, especially coming from you. But it is, to put it lightly, ignorant to ignore the fact that the void created by something wrong or bad happening to you is far, far, far exponentially more consequential than the ramifications of my death. So for that, my path, while important, is only truly important to me as it is one of redemption. But you uphold a lot more than, just an oath. So I appreciate it, buddy, and I'll give him the faintest pat on the back, because I know he's basically a pile of twigs. And I'll say, unfortunately, I refuse to live in a world or underworld where my life is to be more considered than yours. And I look at Ion and I look at Mowgli and I nod in affirmation that if it comes down to the two of us, me and Amun, that they are to return Amun back to the sky and make sure that he does not stay in the deep dark.
Amun looks at Ion, sweating, smiles slyly, and Ion looks at you, nods. She says, "I have killed many knights of Anubis, both on purpose and on accident. I will do so again."
Good.
And she also she kind of elbows you a little bit in the ribs. Plus, you still need to show me around Pharos. And you feel another pat on your back as Amun does the same thing. "Honestly, that is your main mission, is showing me around. Well, so don't think you're going to get out of it that easy."
Yep. Yep.
And Mowgli says, "That's not his mission at all. That's not his mission at all."
That's awesome. Oh man. Okay,
Their
then
minds are broken, Isaiah.
we cannot save them. He pushes them into the lake of fire.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Then we start journeying into Acropolis. And this is when. Hang on.
So, Isaiah, as you have decided to move forward with a certain mission in mind, I will say that if you would please so kindly give me a survival check with advantage from your two guides, or we'll say that Mowgli is rolling in
Yep.
this situation as he's guiding you two.
Yep. I'll let the general. Let the general roll. So I'll give you his flat number. And I don't know what his modifier is, so you can do that. But his flat
You tell
number
me what the flat is. Yeah.
is 18.
18, that is a very good roll. I will keep that in mind in the journey moving forward. It's easily over 20 at this point, so you're looking pretty good.
Good. Good. Fuck yeah. My nipples are hard in the underworld.
As you guys begin to dismount the cliff, making your way towards the underworld proper, you find yourself amongst the souls of the past that have made the journey through the darkness, avoiding all the threats. And it's kind of odd to see silhouettes of individuals that are there but not there, and they seem to be I mean, they're looking at you, they're taking in your presence, and then they're moving forward, you know?
Nice. Nice. Nice.
They're pretty passive. They seem to be well, it's the natural order of things for the most part. They have passed on and they're moving forward.
Awesome. Dap him up.
Yeah, yeah, some will put a hand out and you'll try to dap them up and you'll literally pull their arm off for a split second like Rayman, and then it'll come then it'll meld back on.
Awesome. All right. Then I'll let Mowgli take the way to
Yep.
Acropolis.
And you guys will yeah, we'll pick it up from that point on later. The next episode will more than likely be a lot sooner than you think.
Allegedly. Um,
Allegedly.
for legal reasons, I can't comment.
We make a Twitter, we're canceling the campaign.
Yep,
it's,
yep,
it's over.
Yep.
It's over.
Allegations have came up. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
On
Fuck.
Ray or Patrick, you'll have to find out.
You'll have to stay tuned.
But I will. Okay, in closing, I know it was a short, what we like to call in the biz, in the Las Vegas nightlife, a quickie. But let's talk about highlights of the episode. I think the biggest highlight, the most fun, creative shit was when Ion changed forms, I grabbed my shield back. I didn't say that, but that did
Oh,
happen.
yeah.
That did happen.
Yeah, it'll be back.
But the coolest thing was absolutely sliding in the sword and just boom in the box. Boom goes the dynamite with thunderous smite. I don't know, man. I like just trying crazy shit and just seeing what you'll let fly. Part of me is like, there's no way that this will he'll let me get away with this. But I like that you allow a certain barometer of shenanigans to occur.
I love when you come up with shenanigans, because that was my favorite part as well, is that you just can't plan for everything. And I'm like, well, are these Red Cap going to be able to do something? I did plan on Sanctuary. I was aware of that. And Red Cap's going to jump on top of the sarcophagus and use his little kicks to put it back down. That was his plan.
I saw that shit from a mile away, and I'm like,
Yep.
oh, I'm like, but
He's going to
I'm like,
Mario stomp this shit.
yeah, and I'm like, it's gonna be awkward to try to swipe and take an attack from below the sarcophagus and hit the boots or hit the ankles or something like that. So I'm like, okay, and I don't want to expend another spell slot because I've already done that so many times. So I'm like, let me get up there, and I was gonna Spartan kick him off of the Ion. That was the goal, but I settled with just yeeting him while I trip and fall. But yeah, that was super fun. I loved it. But yeah, there was. Let me see other moments. I like this Pharaoh business that you got going on. I don't know what's up with that, but I like that even Amun is kind of sus of it and not really fully aware of what's going on. So there's a lot of questions to be asked.
It's a big exclamation point for Amun to see a sarcophagus of a pharaoh from the old days, when he was meant to be the final one and is supposed to be the only remnant from that dynasty. And to see that again is like, your nightmare
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah. What the fuck? No.
Just,
Yeah.
oh no.
Yeah. That's some shit. I'm sure for him. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's too much else to call out. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot more stuff to talk about when allegedly the next episode happens soon, when I don't know, we meet certain individuals that may be, uh, awkward or intriguing to meet, or both. Encounters happen, and I already have a cool thing that I want to do here at some point. I have a couple of things that I have in mind for the next thing, so I'm excited for the next episode to see how they manifest, or if they even manifest. So that is very cool. But yeah, I don't know if there's too much to add. I love the boombox, and that's all. That's all I really wanted to highlight here as we wind down this episode.
Who doesn't love the boombox?
We all love the boombox. But until then, hopefully we get into more crazy shenanigans here soon. But otherwise, yeah, we'll call this a wrap, and hopefully you guys will hear from us soon, as maybe part two happens here relatively soon. All right, and yeah, have a good one, guys. Bye bye.
Fuck out of here.
Oh.